Hi, I'm Lou Ann Hunt, and we're back with another exciting edition of Lynchburg 360. How'd you like a date with an attractive Lynchburg firefighter? In fact, how would you like 365 dates? The city's female firefighters have released a new calendar which goes on sale this month. The proceeds help fight against muscular dystrophy. It's kind of a throwback to the 1940s era of Rosie the Riveter, where they show us that strength is beautiful.
The idea for this calendar came from our 60-year partnership with the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Every year we do a Fill the Boot campaign where we go to area businesses and collect money for MDA. This year was different. This year we had a member of our own fire department family here in Lynchburg diagnosed with a neuromuscular disease. And unfortunately that disease ended his career in the fire service. So this year I felt like we needed, in honor of him, to step up our game a little bit and do something different that would be a bit more profitable for MDA. We ended up choosing to do the all-female calendar because there's a couple more things that we'd like to celebrate. For the first time in our department's 135-year history, we have enough females employed to do an all-female calendar. The other thing we wanted to celebrate is our organization's 135th birthday. We decided to go with a throwback classic pinup theme because that was a time in history when women stepped up into roles that were traditionally held by men in the workforce. And so it was a time when women really got to show their strength and contribute to society in a way that they had not in the past. And we wanted to pay respect to that, but also we wanted to feature all of the relics that we have that our department owns that are beautiful and have been restored. So we wanted to show those off a little bit, and they fit the time period. Oh my gosh, this was such a fun project. This is the first time that all the women in the Lynchburg Fire Department have had the opportunity to work together on a project, and it was so much fun. We had so many local businesses support us with their talent and their time. And so just doing the photo shoots alone was so much fun. Getting to get dolled up, get hair and makeup done, pose with these treasured relics that we have all over the city was a really cool opportunity. Our motto is strength is beautiful because we really believe that it takes all kinds of different strengths to be good at this job. Whether you're male, female, old, young, whatever your body type is, there's always something that you have to contribute to the team, and we feel like that's something that's worth celebrating. We have had an extremely wonderful response from the public, very supportive. We sold over 100 calendars within the first day that the sales began, and we just really feel like the community has embraced this idea and this project. Through this project, we're able to accomplish so many things at one time. We're celebrating our department's birthday. We're also showing off the solidarity and strength of the women that work here, but we're also able to raise money for an extremely precious cause to us with the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And also, we just like to show off some of the cool relics that we have in the organization that people don't know about. I would tell you that this goes to an incredible cause. You're not only supporting the Muscular Dystrophy Association, but you're showing your love and support of the Lynchburg Fire Department, and specifically of the women that work here and all the different talents and strengths that they bring to the table.
He's been described as a combination of P.T. Barnum and Willy Wonka. Mark Klein, the man who brought us such attractions as Foamhenge and the Enchanted Castle, has a new venture where visitors can get a history lesson they probably never learned in school. If you want to know more about how dinosaurs almost changed the course of the Civil War, tag along with Steve Smallshaw as he heads to Natural Bridge in this edition of Day Tripper.
I almost hate to ask this, but where did the idea for Dinosaur Kingdom come from?
You know, when I was a kid, there was a movie called The Valley of the Gwangi, dinosaurs back in the Old West. I think it sort of stemmed from there. And then, you know, I'm so fascinated by that film and all science fiction films. And this is sort of the total sum of thinking about this all those years.
What will a visitor see once they come in here?
This takes place during the Civil War, so this is not your father's dinosaur park. It's very unusual. You know, when you walk back into time, you'll see the Yankees trying to use dinosaurs as weapons of mass destruction against the South. And it's not working out too well for them. I think they left it out of most of the history books.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
You know, I think it's because history was written by the victors, and it was such an embarrassment for the Union. They just couldn't put it down on paper. Plus, it was just so unbelievable. Yeah. But I'm telling you the true story. Come on out and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, a fascination with dinosaurs stemmed way back when I was a kid in Waynesboro. Me and a friend, John Garcia, I took his boat and I built a paper mache brontosaurus on the back of his boat, and we went down the South River. I mean, it was probably the seeds of Dinosaur Kingdom, because back then I envisioned having something like this.
Right. And 30 years, 40 years later, here you are.
40-some years later, here it is, the dream come true. I learned how to build figures out of fiberglass. And, you know, and dinosaurs have always been so popular. I've done probably about, and I've lost count, maybe about 200 or 300 dinosaurs. I've set up dinosaur parks in Florida. I just did one out in Albuquerque. And so, they always have this popularity, and I don't think I have to ever worry about that.
Now, you've got folks who are familiar with your artwork, are fans of your artwork, who come from all around to see what you created, your latest creation. What is that like for you?
Well, you know, the internet has sort of made me kind of famous. You know, I do a lot of these interviews. I just did the Travel Channel yesterday. I've done a Discovery and all that. But, you know, I never usually watch those. I just do these interviews and move on. But other people are watching these and reading these internet stories. And so it's all kind of still a little bit strange to me, people coming up and wanting to get their picture made and autographs and things like that. But, you know, but I'm Mark, and I have fun with it. And the best part of it is knowing that somehow I'm inspiring other people. You know, I try to reach that inner core that everybody shares. You know, it's everybody likes to laugh. Everybody likes to have a good time, you know, and I'm right in there with it. You know, this is all, I take my business very serious. You could say I seriously approach fun.
Get over the door, and that tells you a little bit about the history back there. And then you're going to go through the railroad car, then through the time tunnel, and then you're going to come into a mining town. On the right is the museum.
I mean, so really, it's geared towards adults, it's geared towards kids. It's anybody who, like you said, who likes to have fun.
Anybody that wants to have fun, and this is the place for them. I mean, you can let your imagination go wild. And if you don't want to have fun, this is especially the place for you, because maybe we'll put a little bit in you.
How would you describe yourself? I mean, I think I've read you're part Willy Wonka, part P.T. Barnum. You take those as compliments, I imagine. Yeah, you know, I've been described by other people as the Willy Wonka-ish, P.T. Barnum-ish. You know, and I like to go a little step further, and I'd like to say that myself, I'm more of a healer, but we all are, because we all have the power to do this by using our gifts, and this just happens to be what I do, you know, and that's the most important thing we can do on this planet is to help other people and bring some enjoyment to their lives. I do it through humor, and I just hope everybody enjoys themselves when they come here. Anyway, this is the storyboard. And people just seem to like this to kind of match this up to what they're going to actually see. These are some of the displays, and this is how this park sort of started. You know, I had the ideas, I turned them into illustrations, and then what we did is we made these 3D. So you'll see a lot of these. You'll see this of the boy milking the Stegosaurus, Abe Lincoln up here on the roof with the pteranodons, and. Now, as we go through this park, there'll be this character named Mr. Slime, and he just pops up and appears every now and again. You just never know. Well, oh, there he is. He's hey, buddy. Hey, he really makes a mess. Look what he did to the floor here. Can't do anything with him. I mean, what happened? You know, you got to put together the pieces of the puzzle, and something's going on here. You're hearing sounds, and oh, we get to go into the slime theater and see what's going on over here.
Possibly today, we have received word that the Union Army.
This is a documentary that kind of explains a little bit about what happened here, so people get to sit here and spend a few minutes familiarizing themselves with what they're about to see. Let's see
we plan to aid these beasts of island Europe and end this war of non-aggression. Lest my eyes don't fall on yours again, I feel compelled to my love to you. No, that I ran into.
You'll get to watch on the video some old photographs and things that happened, you know, back during the war when they tried to gather up these dinosaurs and use them against the Confederates.
Know that my love for you cannot.
See here where these boys downed a pteranodon right here.
Yours and this life.
It's a very rare photograph.
Extremely rare. And there's some interactive stuff. This is new this year. I'm probably the only dinosaur park in the world where you get to feed dinosaurs. Let me demonstrate. No, it is feeding time, so you're in luck. We do have a morsel here. Feed it right into this building right here. And the feeding goes on. So, it gets a little violent here. But as you can see, they do a very thorough job. I'm very proud of them. Come on in to Dinosaur Kingdom 2. There are some playful moments. You know, kids are allowed to interact. This is a very popular area here where the kids get to sit on the babies. And as you go through here, there are these scenes that depict something about to happen. This is the moment. This is the precipice of something about to happen. Not a moment before, not a moment after. So this is open for the customer's interpretation as they come through. There's no signs here. I mean, in fact, if you have to have a little bit more of what you saw, you can always buy the Dinosaur Kingdom 2 comic book. Yeah. Okay, enough of that. Whew. But as you can see, we're totally surrounded. But this is something, people have to work for this. This isn't just like in your face. I am surrounded right now by 6 Celophysis, and they are some of the most dangerous dinosaurs that ever walked the earth. They were some of the first meat eaters. But see how well they're disguised here in the woods. And there's even one right behind you. See how quick they can sneak up on you? Here's another very familiar and famous character, Stonewall Jackson. Very few people know that he actually survived the war. And this is one of these instances I was telling you where it was left out of the history books. You can actually see the bullet holes here. This was the jacket he was wearing when he got shot in Chancellorsville. But he didn't die. In fact, he survived. He did have his arm amputated, but Dr. McGuire hooked up with somebody and they created a mechanical arm for him. And he needed it to dig for the Bill treasure and found it very useful when fighting the great Spinosaurus. And as you're about to exit, you come into the big battle scene right here. You know, you get the dinosaurs, the Mr. Slimes who have joined the Confederacy.
So when they walk back out the exit, what do you hope they are feeling?
Well, what I hope when people walk out of here, they're getting more than they expected. Like, wow, you know, we didn't, you promise them a little, give them a lot more.
Summertime is always a busy season for the folks at the Lynchburg Humane Society, as hundreds of new dogs and cats are taken in and put up for adoption. If you've ever thought about giving one of these furry cuties a forever home, the adoption process is as easy as can be. Check this out and then make it a point to stop by for a visit. Hi, cutie.
The Lynchburg Humane Society went through a huge transformation in 2009 when they hired me as their very first executive director and made a pledge to take this whole community no-kill, which means that no healthy or treatable animal was going to be euthanized in the city of Lynchburg, and we would be considered no-kill at that point. I'm the executive director, McKenna Yarbrough, the first one the organization's ever had. So, you know, it's been an exciting road for the organization and myself being here in Lynchburg. You know, the mission of the organization is to help animals through sheltering, spay, neuter, community outreach, education, adoption. But I think in a broader sense, our mission is to provide a safe place for the pets of our community and our region, and to be a resource for pet owners so we can help them keep their pet and be a final place for people who have no other option other than to have us shelter their pet for them and find them a new home. We primarily house dogs and cats, but we do get rabbits and ferrets and gerbils and guinea pigs and small kind of pocket pets, that's what they're called. We've had a hedgehog, which is a different kind of pet you wouldn't think of, and we also do birds, domesticated birds. Most of our animals come from they're strays. Most of the animals are brought into us that are lost from their owners, or they're small kittens born outside in the community with a mother somewhere, but they don't know who the mother is. So it's far more strays coming in than owner surrenders, but we do receive in probably about 40% owner surrenders, and then the other percentage, a small percentage, comes from other shelters within our region and our state. It's a fun question, but it's almost impossible to answer because each person has their kind of different role here. So a typical day for an animal care person would be coming in, looking at their space, checking on all the animals within the area that they're cleaning the space, and then providing enrichment during the day. So they're walking dogs, or they're making sure cats have proper toys to play with, and then refeeding. And so their day is one thing. The adoption staff is completely different. They obviously answer phone calls, help customers with finding good matches for their household. The development department does something very different. They plan events. They are looking at new ways of funding the organization. And then we have our intake department, or pet help desk, where they're talking with owners, helping them with their problems, encouraging them to rehome the pet themselves, providing resources, and working with community members who have found lost pets. Most of our funding comes from donations. We do also bring in funding through programs such as our summer camps, bring in some revenue there. We have a retail store where everything obviously sold there. The revenue comes straight back to the shelter. Adoption prices, volunteer fees, all of the different fees and ways that people spend money here will come back to help the animals that we care for, but primarily donations. How people can help, there's so many different ways. Obviously, adopting is one. Coming in and spending time with an animal, choosing an animal that you feel like would be a good fit for your home, communicating with one of our adoption counselors. They'll tell you about the pet, its history, and what we know. And if we both feel like it's a good fit and the needs of the animals are going to be met, then it's a simple process of putting the information into our computer system, and we have a contract and we send you home with the pet usually, unless there's some other circumstances that the pet may not be able to go home that day. Volunteering, we have a wonderful, very robust volunteer program here. We oriented almost 1,000 people last year, coming in, walking dogs, helping with the adoption process. You can come and help clean in the morning if you want, help with events. There's so many different ways to help. And obviously donating is a huge help to us, because if we don't have the funds, then we really truly aren't able to do what we need to help the animals in our shelter and in other shelters across the state that are not making it out, that need to make it out. There's no set fee for adoption. A lot of the animals, we look at the animal that's up for adoption and we'll put it within a certain range. Like our dogs usually range anywhere from free. So if we have a really older pet that's 15, 12, 10, that may be a free adoption, because we know people aren't wanting to take on older pets with added medical costs. We do summer camps, birthday parties. We've had people use our space for adult birthday parties, and parties in general. We'll let people come in and rent the space out. for business parties and so forth. We have a wonderful training room that has training classes. We have multiple classes a week. We have puppy socials, so if you just get a puppy and you wanted to socialize with other puppies, it's $10. They come and romp and play, and it's really great fun in the evening time. If they're wanting to bring in supplies, we're always looking for dog food and cat food, wet and dry. We prefer Purina. We're always looking for bedding, pillows and blankets and comforters, because what we've discovered, just like in a home environment, pets like to be snuggly and want to feel comfortable and relaxed. And so that's the best way of doing it. Toys, rawhides, those are great ways of helping the pets here. We are, generally just looking for the basics to help the pets, but we'll accept pretty much anything. The Lynchburg Center for Pets is our facility, and the website is lynchburghumane.org. If you're wanting to visit information on the Pennsylvania Pet Center, it's pennsylvaniapetcenter.org. We do have a Facebook page, it's Lynchburg Humane. We have a YouTube page, a Twitter page, and Instagram. We're all over social media. And the phone number is 448-0088. And you reach that main number, you can hit any extension to get to anybody.
That's all for this edition of Lynchburg 360. The annual Get Downtown event takes place on September 8th, but there are plenty of great reasons to stop down here any day of the month. And while you're at it, make sure to take some time and enjoy the view.